How's it going, guys? Here we are playing Fort Aspenwood on the Kurzik side this time, and I'm running as an Elementalist with Shatterstone as my elite. So you can see what it does here. Strikes them for 105 cold damage. They're hexed with Shatterstone, and then 3 seconds later, when it ends, they're struck, and all nearby foes are struck for another 105 damage. So it's a very nice spiking skill. Probably the best spiking skill for Water Elementalists here. Then with me as well, I have Shatterstone. Does some pretty decent damage. That's skill number 1, as well as slowing down some opponents. I have Freezing Gust, Glowing Ice to kind of gain some energy back. And then also I have Glimpse of Immolation. So, you know, that's a fire magic skill, but my next, I think 3 spells will inflict burning for 3 seconds. So it works out pretty nicely with this build for a little bit of extra damage, some degeneration aspect to it, even though it's only brief. And then of course I have my attunement skills here, 7 and 8, Water Attunement and Aura of Restoration. I know you guys are a fan of watching these Elementalist builds and videos. Elementalists are always fun to watch. They can deal some massive damage. All around a very fun class to play. Very good for AoE damage, although this build here is not really very much AoE damage. I could have brought like Maelstrom. That's a pretty nice AoE spell for water magic. That also interrupts foes as they're casting spells, but I decided not to bring that. I do have Blurred Vision though. This is gonna help me deal with some melee physical damage characters. Like this ranger up here, you can see cast Blurred Vision. Now half of his attacks will miss, or at least they 50% chance to miss. Kind of my nemesis here is like this Mesmer, right? Casting Guilt, maybe has some interrupts. The nemesis of Elementalists are oftentimes Mesmers. Because most Elementalist spells do have a fairly long cast time. Which is why I'm kind of just sitting on a 40-40 set this game, to try to reduce some of that cast time, some of that recharge time. And not that a ranger is a nemesis of an Elementalist, but their armor is 4 elemental damage, so you can see I'm spamming a lot of attacks on this ranger, but they're not doing as much damage as they normally would. Rangers' armors are very good against elemental damage. And you do have to watch out for their interrupts as well. But really I'm just outside here trying to see if I can sneak around to capture one of these amber shrines to try to run some amber. But it doesn't look like I'll be able to do that. But with this build I should be able to take over those shrines solo. So not really a clear path to go in that way. You can see it's fairly well guarded with the siege turtle and whatnot. But at least I can slow down that Mesmer from trying to run after me. And we'll go ahead and go over this other side here. Maybe we'll be able to take out the siege turtle. It looks like he's kind of alone here. See, our team is targeting it. And Shatterstorm is very spammable too. Or not Shatterstorm. My elite. Very spammable elite. Shatterstorm. Overall, we got a pretty nice team set up. See, we have 2 monks, which is, I think, the ideal amount of monks and healers to have on the Kurzik side. You need to have a balance of damage and healing, because taking out those siege turtles is important. Because even with high heals, sometimes if the siege turtles stay alive, it's hard for your monks to out-heal them. And they do have a fair number of physical damage targets, so that works out nicely with my Blurred Vision. You can cast it on this Dervish, on this Ranger. Not too worried about casting on these Luxon Warriors here because they're not really all that effective. And you can kind of just run away from them. They always stay close to the siege turtle if it's alive. Also, with something like that dervish, I can slow down his movement with skills 1 and 3. We're taking out this siege turtle now. You can see they have someone healing it here. Maybe we need to switch to that target at some point. Try to keep up this glimpse of immolation as much as we can. Some nice interrupts there by that Mesmer. And they're pressing Green Gate hard. You can see all those NPCs starting to drop. We do have this Kurzik Juggernaut. That's a little bit more difficult to take out. The Juggernaut will move around. He doesn't just stay in one place like the NPCs. So unless he's attacking something, he's kind of hard to hit with AoE damage. But you can see they got their turtles already... The second one back up. I guess this other one we weren't able to kill. So they're dropping down their attacks, and you can see it does some really heavy damage. And it looks like the person that's healing their turtles is actually an Elementalist. An E/monk healer. Now I've failed to keep up my attunement, so you can see my energy is a little bit of a problem here. I have to actually switch to a high set. So it's really important to keep up your energy. And I really should be using glowing ice better whenever I hit them with a water hex. That way glowing ice will trigger and give me some energy back. Probably some poor attention on my part, but I still have not casted those attunements. I think one of my reasons, though, is with these siege turtle attacks, they'd just be removed right away. So it's probably why I'm not casting them. But it's looking like this could be a close game. We're not really taking out their turtles. They're starting to bust through this green gate. You can see Poletsky being attacked here. Sometimes if you can't kill them, though, at least you can slow them down. Slow their speed movement down. Hit them with things like blurred vision. At least right here, I'm outside those siege turtle attacks, so I can keep my attunements up. They're pressing hard now, so looking close. Good thing we dropped that monk there, though, and now the rest of their players should start to drop pretty easily. One gatekeeper's dropped. Kind of down to the wire here. You can see the second one is dropped now too. But God's Vengeance is probably just 5% away. We have a Vengeance there with a revive. But too little too late for their team. This would be a win for us. Thanks for watching, and cheers.